Hello, everybody, and welcome. Episode number 13 of Sit Down Marks. What about it, boys? Can you believe we made it 13 episodes?
Did no.
13. Is that what
Lucky,
is it,
lucky 13.
a baker's dozen?
Yes.
A
Yes.
baker's dozen. Yeah, classic. But welcome, everybody. I'm your heel host, Dirty Bird. Those are my babyface co-hosts. I'll introduce those guys to you in a second, but I want to welcome everybody listening on Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. Appreciate everybody out there downloading the show, man. All right, let me introduce you to my sexy beasts of co-hosts here. Let's start with our man from the man of the land of the rattlesnake, Mr. Team Extreme himself, editor and producer of the show. And he will let you know that he is the Sit Down Marks current champ.
Wait, what?
We need to acknowledge him. Everybody, welcome Primo to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here. I'm glad that I can sit here and grace you all with my presence.
Us too, man. Wouldn't be you're the head of the table, so to speak, I guess.
That's right.
You're
Yes.
The tribal pod chief, if you will.
If you will.
If you will, my brother. If you will. I love it. Already 10 seconds into it, there's an impression already.
Yep. I'm down to one.
All right, my other babyface co-host. He is assistant editor and producer of the show, straight out of Yo Mama's kitchen. Everybody, welcome AJ.
AJ.
Good morning. It's not morning. I don't know why I just said good morning. Hi. Good. Hi. Yep.
Hello.
Moving on.
All right, guys. So episode number 13. If you're not tuning in, man, I got a crazy message the other day from my guy, Big Beef Gnarls Garvin, man. Here was the message that was left.
It's the Beefster here, and I'm telling you, you better turn into the Sit Down Marks podcast with AJ, Dirty Bird, and Primo. And if you don't, Beef's gonna have to hit you with that beefy bomb. Tune in, folks. They won't disappoint you. It's the
How about that, huh?
He's going to murder all three of us. All three of
That's
us are gonna
so
be
awesome.
overjoyed.
Big
Yes.
Beef Gnarls Garvin
Thank
right there,
you,
man. He's going to drop
Gnarls
that
Garvin.
beefy bomb on you if you don't watch the show.
Appreciate that, Big Beef.
Absolutely, man. Big Beef coming on the show at the end of the month, man. It's going to be
can't
fun.
wait.
He's going to be our first guest here. It's going to be a good time. But first of all, guys, I want to thank our sponsors. And first of all, man, let's pop up these rowdies, man. It's time to get our thirst quench here tonight. I got some cherry limeade going on. How about you guys?
Strawberry lemonade.
Orange citrus.
Oh, you found the orange,
I
man.
did.
I got to get me some of that.
I
was so
really
excited.
need to find that.
I was so excited when I found it because I love it so much. I don't like it more than cherry. Wait, do I?
A little bit of bubbly.
Orange
Little
is
bit of
good,
the
man.
bubbly.
It's becoming right there with cherry limeade for me.
I might-
I really
I
like
like it
it a
more.
lot.
I still haven't been able to find it. I'm jealous.
You might have a trophy, but I have orange citrus, Rowdy. I think we know who comes out on top in this one.
Right, yeah. You better acknowledge his orange citrus rowdy. But also, I want to thank Coastland Apparel, www.coastland Apparel. Use promo code BirdTV for 15% off your order, and we thank them for sponsoring my channel here. All right, guys. So, also, everybody out there listening, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, pretty much every platform we are on if you want us in your ears. Our newest additions are TuneIn Radio and also OneStopWrestling.com. But as usual, we are always live. If you're listening right now, Sportinarium Radio on Fridays at 7:15, right after the Thomas Bryce Show. And we thank them for allowing us to be on their platform, man. Super excited about that, boys, huh?
Absolutely.
Yep.
If you can stream audio on it, we're there.
We are everywhere you want to be. Just
Yes.
everywhere.
Absolutely, man. We really, really do thank you guys all for downloading and supporting the show here. So, all right, but welcome officially to episode number 13, man. As I said, I'm your heel host, Dirty Bird. Today's show, man, a little bit across the board here. We're going to talk a lot of recap wrestling. We're going to talk about our top 5 favorite women's wrestlers of all time. So that should be fun here. We're going to talk about NXT in your house pay-per-view coming up. We got that going on tonight. A lot of different things going on here. But the way we kick off this show, man, is the only one way. And Primo is going to tell us about this day in wrestling history and wrestling birthdays.
Yeah. What happened this day?
Let me tell you what happened. Let me talk to you. On June 9th
Love it.
in 1996,
Ooh.
WCW Nitro, Scott Hall reveals his big surprise. It turns out to be, it turns out to be Big Sexy Kevin Nash. How about that?
Wolfpack, baby.
How many
sir.
people were actually surprised by that?
I mean-
who was like, who's it gonna be?
It's a surprise.
It's like
Gonna be right.
I mean, Hogan was the real surprise.
yeah.
Yeah. That was a real surprise. But who is he with? You always
Right.
remember
Whose
that.
side is he on?
He
Yeah,
was saying,
outsider.
whose side is he on? We know whose side is he on. How do you know for sure?
You don't have to
Shivani and
say it.
Hayden going back, man. It's so God, I love wrestling.
Also, this day in history, 2005. Let's go forward 9 years from that Nitro. WWE had ECW One Night Stand.
One of the
There
best
There were
pay-per-views.
signs in there that said, "If Cena wins, we riot." And guess
Yes.
who didn't win?
It was
John
a-
Cena. That day, RVD did see him, and he won the championship.
RVD.
I think that is my
RVD.
favorite Cena match because Cena's straight heel the whole
He
entire
is.
time.
Oh,
Yes,
my God.
he is. Hey, after that match, I had total respect for
Yeah.
Cena because
Yeah,
he went in the lion's den for this match.
I legit
man.
thought they really would riot.
Yeah, they
Yes, yes. I think they were probably concerned too. But
Yeah.
yeah, Cena went in the lion's den and dropped the belt, man,
Yep.
on his home turf in front of their nutty fans, and it was absolutely spectacular.
If
I
it
love
wasn't for
how
that,
They
yeah.
kept throwing the T-shirt like that
Then throw it back to him.
They were
Yes.
throwing it back to him, and he kept. Good for Cena.
He just kept going. Like
Kept going.
he does that, like I watched it was when The Rock was at WrestleMania and the Wyatt family is about to jump him. Cena returns and he comes out, and this is when the crowd's into the cadence of John Cena sucks.
Yep.
And he does it with him. He likes
Yeah,
yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah.
So next up, and that was cool because RVD he was before that in the conversation of greatest wrestlers that never have the WWE Championship. So
Yes.
all right,
Underrated.
2012
Racer.
Not too long ago.
TNA Slammiversary. It was their 10-year Slammiversary, which coming up they're having Slammiversary. So isn't it ironic? Sting
Don't you think?
was inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame on this night. But what's really crazy about it was at the time, the WWE Intercontinental Champion, Christian, crossed over for one night only. He went to go see his peeps. Christian Cage showed up at Slammiversary.
Yeah.
Wonder how he got away with that.
Wow. I don't know.
He was the
Crazy.
IC champion WWE,
Yeah.
and they went over there for one night.
Right.
Maybe they like pre-taped it like months and months beforehand, and then they were like, "Oh, WWE."
Sounds like a TNA thing to do.
Yeah. It definitely kind of does.
Yeah, it really does.
All right, moving on to birthdays.
Birthdays.
Let's go with 1926. The original Sheik.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time ago.
It was
Almost 100
Wow.
years ago. Yeah.
Not the Sheiky baby, but the other Sheik.
The original Sheik, yeah.
Not Sheik,
Yes.
baby.
19
Not the one that will humble you.
1995, Tay Conti.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. 95. Wow, yeah.
Stop.
We're old.
I just did the math of how old I was when she was born.
Me too.
Moving on.
In 1997, I'm not too familiar with him, but maybe you are, Dirty. That's why I put him on here. He's
Yeah.
he
Come on.
runs in the crowd of AAW GCW territory. His name is Myron Reed.
Yes, sir. Lion Reed, Louisville, Kentucky's own. Currently, I think he's MLW Heritage Champion or something like that. And yeah, he's on the AEW Heritage Champion for a while. Super big prospect. I'm kind of surprised he hadn't been signed yet, really, honestly.
I'm kind of impressed that you knew all that just now. That was That was well done.
He's like a scout report guy. That
Yeah,
was
Mark.
really good. I'm glad you knew who that was. Otherwise, that was
Yes.
going to be a bust.
So
So
it's a dead segment.
I love it. I love it, man. Yeah, I was anticipating like who you're going to talk about there. I was like, Myron Reed. He's probably going to be on that card we're going to see in August, most likely.
all right, and that is this day in wrestling and history and birthdays.
Nice. Good one. Good one. How old was Myron Reed? How much?
97.
97.
97.
So that makes him
Okay.
24.
Okay.
Oh,
Young buck, man. Man, he's got star written all over, man. He can wrestle, too. I'm just surprised he hasn't been picked up yet. But if you're out there, sign Myron Reed. All right, here we go. Let's get this show underway. Once again, everybody, we are on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Sportinarium.com, online radio on Fridays, and basically, like we said earlier, anywhere else you want to hear from us, you can get us. All right, so let's get this things underway. We like to start with the show recaps. Everything was a little back and forth, man, and like kind of out of sorts here this week. So we record on Wednesday, so we didn't have AEW on Wednesday last week. It got moved to Friday because of NBA playoffs. So that makes me kicking off this week on Thursday. I'm going to talk to you here a little bit about Impact Wrestling and also the indies of what's going on. Let's talk about the indies first here locally for us, me and AJ. We live in the central Illinois area. Iron Spirit Pro, our local our local promotion is getting started back up. I think it was July the 26th, which I was bummed about because I'm going to be on vacation. So
I'm not going to be. Sucker.
Definitely check that out. I heard it's a really cool venue. One of my buddies is going there, so they're kicking back up.
I will be there as well.
Show's coming up though. St. Louis Anarchy Circus Maximus coming up. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be on IWTV. Black Label Pro out of Crown Point, Indiana. They are kicking back up too. I think in July they are going in conjunction with Journey Pro Wrestling. They actually formed a Twitch page that they're going to start showing some wrestling on when they do those little conjunctions. So that's kind of what's going on with them. And AAW this weekend, they have a pay-per-view. I can't remember the name of it. It's like Crush and Destroy, I think. Chris Statlander is on it.
Nice.
The main event of that is Mance Warner and What's My Name? This is where you guys go, something.
Oh, something.
Okay.
Sandbag. Straight sandbag.
Awful. All right, here we go.
Something.
Thank you. Future Impact Wrestling champion, I'm telling you, Jake something. Here we go. Heidi Love's Ruby Wright's boyfriend, I think. Not sure if that's still together, but a little tidbit for you. Anyway. All right, here we go. Let's cover Impact Wrestling from last Thursday, which would have been June the 3rd, 2021. Real quick, let's get started here. All right, so you guys remember last week I talked about they were going to do this thing called BTI before the Impact.
Yep.
They're going to do an Iron Man match, TJP and Josh Alexander. Well, they started right on time. Show goes live. There's 8 minutes left in the match. Josh Alexander is up 1-0 on TJP. Back and forth match, man, really good. These guys kind of look tired towards the end of the match, but put on a heck of a show. TJP pulls out a pin with like 2 seconds to go to make it a tie. They go into a sudden death overtime after wrestling for an hour. The funny part to me about this match was wrestlers outside the ring going, "This is Impact." This is Impact. So
Sure.
so that was funny to me. But anyway, Josh Alexander ends up getting the win, holds on to the title. At the end of the match, he says that, since the World Impact Heavyweight Championship is not on not on the show at the moment, i.e. Omega. He said he's the measuring stick around here. He's going to defend the belt every night. Pretty much saying that I'm the man now. So that's how that ends up. My second point of the night was the return of Kojima he's basically a 30-year Japanese wrestling legend,
Yes.
and the dude looks like he's been like shot out of a time machine. Like he looks in phenomenal shape. The man just doesn't age. So anyway, he's got a warm-up match with Cody Deaner because he is of Violent by Design because he is wrestling Joe Doering this coming Saturday, which is actually this coming Saturday, at Against All Odds. So awesome pay-per-view or awesome match. He really looked great. He wins with basically a clothesline, hard lariat, whatever you want to call it. So third point about tonight, our main event, Sami Callihan versus Moose. Thank you. All right, man. Banger of a match. Hard hitting. Sammy slobbered this whole match. He had saliva going everywhere. Hard hitting banger of a match, man. It was really good. I knew this wasn't going to come out of a finish, but I didn't see what happened at the end. I didn't see this coming, but it makes sense when you think about it. But so what happened is this great match happens. The Good Brothers hit the ring. They beat up Moose and Sammy. Omega comes with Callis right after that. He comes out and helps. They come out and help with the beatdown, and then so they kind of leave the ring. Omega's like, "Oh, you guys aren't ready for us." Blah blah blah. This and that, and then so the way it ends is Scott D'Amore is in the back. And he's talking to Don Callis, and he goes, "I want to add Sami Callihan to the triple threat match, or to make it a triple threat with
the
The
old triple match.
I know, right?
It's the most dangerous match.
That sounds like a four-way, a thruple.
Thruple.
Yeah, so he wants to add that to the
only
match.
three.
So Callis is like, "No, you can't do that." Tony Khan, said we have to agree on things, and Scott's like, "Okay, well, actually, he's coming to Impact next Thursday. So Tony Khan's going to be on Impact this coming Thursday. It looks like they're going to add Sammy to the match, which means probably the belt's going to Moose. Sammy will take the pin, and it keeps Omega clean. That's the way I probably see it happening, but that's my booking. But so that's what happened in Impact. A couple quick little notes. A lot of people are always like, "Oh, because this pay-per-view Against All Odds is on Impact Plus." So basically, that's an app, just like Peacock or anything. You pay $7.99 a month, and you can watch it. It's on Roku, Apple, Amazon Fire, blah blah blah. A couple more quick notes about this show, and then I'm done. Jake, something. I have
there
to
this
do
time.
that every time.
Yeah, when you didn't do it, then we were there.
right. He beat Rohit Raju in a table match, and then
Speared him through it, right?
Yeah, speared him through it. Yep, and then
Something.
Rich Swann, he speared him through the table. Something. And then Rich Swann and Morrissey, a.k.a. Big Cass, who every time I look at him, I'm like, my God, he is in shape, man. Yeah, and the eyes, and he's shredded, dude.
He really is.
He has no more sad belly that he
he doesn't.
That he had before.
He's not soft anymore.
No, it's
So in there. Oh, very well played. Well played. That's why you're on the podcast, sir.
For dandies like that.
All right, so finishing up here, Morrissey and Rich Swann was supposed to. I don't like the name Morrissey, by the way.
That's W. Morrissey. Yeah.
Yeah. I just keep thinking
old-timey
Johnny
1920s guy.
Yeah.
I just keep going to and I keep going to Johnny Drip Drip, like Johnny Morrissey.
Johnny Drip with my dripstick.
So anyway, Morrissey attacks Rich Swann pre-match. They never get the match underway. Boom, that's it. All right, and then last little note I want to add: they got a new wrestler coming on the scene here in Impact.
He likes Jim Beam.
Is Jameson?
Like Jim Beam.
Oh, it's Jameson. That's what it was.
Right.
Yeah, Jameson.
Jameson, but that is Sweet Tea or something. It's not Jameson. Jameson is not cloudy, but anyway, it's it works out to get.
Good point.
Jameson. All right, so you guys, you know where I'm going, but you have to help me with the name. So, but anyway, he is a former member of the Forgotten Sons. He is Deonna Purrazzo's boyfriend at the moment, who is the Impact Knockouts champion. He is named. They're billing him as. I always love when I get to say billing. It's
Yeah,
like
billing.
a build out of parts unknown.
Yeah.
No,
Right,
his
yeah.
name is Macklin. Macklin. Now
Macklin,
he
yeah,
was
Steve
a Jackson
Macklin.
rider. But what's his name?
Well, his name is Steve Macklin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what was his name in the Forgotten Sons?
Cutler.
Yeah. Steve
Cutler. There you go. Thank you, sir.
Steve
So
Cutler.
it looks like he's about to bust on the scene here.
I mean,
So-
to be honest, Forgotten Sons was right because I did forget about him.
As did I.
right, and
Yeah.
that was a bad name, man. They should have scrapped that right off the beginning because as soon as they go out to
Yeah.
try to cut a serious promo,
You got-
the crowd's chanting, "We forgotten." Yeah.
Built-in crowd chants. Those
That's
normally
right.
get people over.
All right, here we go. So that is your a small little indie wrap up and Impact Wrestling. All right, next up in line, that was Thursday. So Primo SmackDown on Friday. And I'm gonna lead you off with 3 letters, and that is TSR. You know what that means, boys?
Two
Do you know what that means?
tough bull plop.
No, sir. It means Tracksuit Roman is back.
Oh,
baby.
that's true. Tracksuit Roman.
Yes.
Yes.
Here we go. SmackDown.
He's really like maybe it's because like I don't
He's
know.
got his own logo. on
Really,
it now.
really,
Oh,
really
yeah.
embrace it. He did. He
Yeah.
had it last week too.
Oh, the Superman. Okay, the
Yeah.
Superman punch on it. Yeah, that's sweet.
I taught him
Tracksuit
that.
Roman. He comes out. I'm like, oh yeah, business picking up, baby.
He was wearing
That's
he was
tracksuit on.
wearing my shirt under the tracksuit though. I
He
did
was.
see
I
that.
noticed that, and I was like, I wonder if Primo's okay with this.
All right, I had a second, so I'm gonna say hey to everybody in the chat here.
I let him. Okay, we're ready.
I'm ready when you are.
So I'm gonna talk about Roman, the whole Uso situation and everything, but I'm gonna save that for last because that's a real big angle on SmackDown right now. But I will talk about in between. The feud with King Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura has continued over the crown. Baron Corbin, he actually won this time. He was thinking by winning he'd be able to snatch the crown. But unfortunately, Boogs was able to get a hold of him, hold him down, and Shinsuke kicked him to the head. Boot to the head! That was a Weird Al Yankovic thing.
That's pretty good.
I got it.
Yeah.
So anyway, Shinsuke kicks him and takes the crown, and then off they go. So Shinsuke still has the crown. It's just gonna keep going like this. I don't know where they're. Eventually, I guess Corbin's gonna
That
have
counts.
to wrestle for his own crown. I mean, it's his, but
They're trying to put some stipulation. They're trying to put some stink on this feud, man. It's almost
No.
like the plant with Ambrose and Jericho.
And Jericho.
But
Yeah.
it's not going to work. But
It's
we're going to eventually love this daggum crown for
yeah,
some stupid reason.
yeah, exactly.
It's gonna end up being like a crown on a pole match or something. Like Vince Russo's gonna come back and.
But I'm
fuck
like-
it.
I'm like, it's Corbin's crown. He
Yeah,
really
it's-
already
it's-
earned it in King of the Ring. That's the whole thing. But anyway,
I hate this
Right.
angle so much. I hate it.
Yeah, I
we'll
feel
we'll
like
get to that later. In our
it's like-
ups and downs.
Corbin, he was not doing anything. Shinsuke, you're not doing anything. Y'all figure it out. So, anyway, moving on, we had the IC title match coming up between Apollo and Kevin Owens, but beforehand, so the whole thing about this was last week, Adam Pearce said that Commander Aziz will be banned from ringside, therefore it's a one-on-one straight match. You know, you remember when old KO got the Nigerian nail and was choking for 2 hours on SmackDown?
Yeah, he was still sounding
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah,
Wasn't
he's
he?
still selling it.
There was 30 seconds into that match. He's already grabbing his throat. I'm like, he hadn't even touched you yet, man.
Yeah.
So,
No, he just
yeah.
he remembered. Like
Yeah,
He remembered. Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
starts getting
Or it became sore on the lockup. You know,
Yeah.
like-
So anyway,
He
due to the fact
reactivated
that
it.
Commander Aziz couldn't be in the match, he attacked him backstage before the match, and he pushed one of them. I don't know what it was, a toolbox or something that pushed him into it against the wall, made it seem like he hurt his ribs. So then he had another body part to sell throughout the match, and
Or KO.
yeah, Kevin Owens still came out because it's a championship match. He ends up losing to Apollo. However, after the match, it wasn't even about that anymore because old Sammy came out to pick the bones. He came out with a haluva kick, and then he just starts talking trash and then runs off. So he does what Sammy does.
Yeah,
I love that Halua kick, man. It just
I do too. I really
lives
do.
it so perfectly.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's just like how he shows up like a buzzard. Just
Yeah, like a hyena.
Circling around like
It's great.
a hyena.
So our big SmackDown, our big SmackDown segment right now is obviously about the Usos and Roman Reigns, the Samoan family.
Tribal chief.
The tribal
Head of the
chief.
table.
He is the head of the table. My personal assistant. So Roman Reigns. He opens the show up by he's coming out to the ring immediately. So he opens up SmackDown this way. Says he's changed his stance on the tag team championship match because the week prior he wasn't feeling it. He was mad because it wasn't his idea.
Yeah.
And they went ahead and around him basically. Like he sees it as there's a chain of command, and they jumped command and went to Adam Pearce. So he tells Jimmy, well, since we're doing this, if you say you're gonna win, you better win.
Mm-hmm.
So then he tells
our whole family's watching.
I like how he hands
Don't be embarrassment.
He hands Paul the mic and he says, "Get my cousins out here."
how awesome! Is that?
Yeah.
After the match, he's pissed off. He looks up at him. He's like, "Bring them to me."
Exactly.
He's like iron fist right here, man.
So Paul gets the Usos out there. It didn't take him much, but anyway, they came out. Jimmy dabs up Roman, and then he tells Jay, he says, well, "You're next. You're supposed to acknowledge me." And he says, "I thought we did that. I thought we did that at Hell in a Cell. You remember last year whenever you choked, I said you're the best, whatever." So they kind of squashed that right there. And then that's what he tells them, that if you're gonna go to the championship tag match, you better win it. So they have the match, right? Unfortunately, it was a good match. Unfortunately, though, the ref didn't catch the shoulder on Jay.
Controversy.
And it ended up counting to a 3 count.
Controversy.
They lost the match.
No,
so
there's not going to be a clean finish in that.
The Mysterios kept their titles.
Boo.
At which point, what you were just talking about, they pan out to backstage to a seething Roman Reigns, is what I put on my paper.
Yeah, he was
lost to a kid. He said you lost to a kid.
Lost to a kid.
He did.
Just buried.
And that's what he said. And he tells him again. He says, "Bring them to me." Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I really thought they were going to put the titles on the Usos here because, then I was going to see. Then I thought we were going to see like a real joining of the Usos and Roman.
I cannot wait for that. They're slow burning.
Yeah, they're slow burning, but it could have happened here because I felt like if they would have won the titles, then he could have went to Roman and been like, "See, I told you, I kept my word for the family." Blah blah blah. They all hug. Show goes
I
off.
cannot wait until
it's coming though.
Yeah,
we'll get to it, but I cannot wait until they are an unstoppable force and they're just wrecking shop. It's going to be awesome.
They need to get another member so they can get the IC belt too.
They're going to add a fourth member of somebody. You know what I mean?
Who?
So, I don't know.
I mean, they are all legit family. So
finally,
that's what I say. Bring back
The
Big
Rock.
Cuz, but then Roman's got to drop the title.
Yeah, IC Champ Rock. Yeah, I don't think that's a thing that's going to happen.
He's got to bring back the Jericho to do that. So.
Yes, he does.
So anyway, whenever they come backstage to see Big Daddy Roman back there, because this is what it seems like, your dad's disappointed with you, because he tells him, he says, "I want this fixed tonight." Adam Pearce catches the Mysterios as right before they're going to walk out the door, and basically says, "We're going to have another match for the titles once again tonight. So get back out there."
Yep.
And Ray's just like, "Okay, dang it!"
And then they walk back in the arena. They still had their gear on, so
Yeah.
they had their boots on too.
Ray's like such a nice guy. He's just like, "Man."
It's like, "Oh man!" Like he turned around and kicked the can.
Yeah. Oh man. So
there's a can backstage just for that purpose.
During the second match, it ends up being the last match of the night. However, right as it looks like it's getting to the climax of the match, Roman interferes. Superman punches little Mysterio off the turnbuckle, and just obviously that ends in DQ. So nobody. So
Yep.
the Usos lose again, but this time because of Roman. But he then proceeds to beat the snot out of both of the Mysterios and beats them up with the steel steps. So he's squishing these guys with the steel steps, but then
Squishy.
yeah, then Jay no, excuse me, it's Jimmy. Jimmy keeps telling Rowan, that's enough, man. That's enough. Like almost like he ain't with it. He ain't with all this violence that Roman's doing right now. He's taking it a little too far.
Right.
And he goes to leave the ring, and he tells Jay, he's like, "Come on, man." And so Jay comes up, starts to leave, and Roman just like steps in front of him,
Uh-huh.
like, "I dare you to go through that rope."
Yeah. like my daughter ain't leaving with that wild boyfriend. Like,
Yeah, no, it's,
like he did everything but like show him the gun. Like
Exactly. So as he stops Jay in his tracks, then he turns around and continues to wail on Dominic in the middle of the ring, and that's how they ended the show. They actually went off air with Roman still bashing in Dominic.
Yep.
Yeah, dropping those forearms.
He's earning that title, man.
Oh, it
Yeah.
was so great. I
Yeah,
love
it
Roman.
was.
He could do nothing wrong at this point.
Yeah. So what do we say? Hell in the Cell at the latest. The Usos take the belts.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah,
getting those belts.
It's
Yeah.
I've had enough of them on the Mysterios, anyways.
Yeah.
Like
me
Roman
too.
said, he got beat
They
by
had
a
their
kid.
historical moment. Okay, bye bye.
Yeah, cool. Move
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yep.
They
You got
gave
the
Rey
record book.
Mysterio the WWE Championship, and he lost it in the same night to John Cena.
Yeah,
I've seen
he
it.
did.
Yep. All right, so that is SmackDown from last Friday. So now it's time for AEW. Life is a flight.
Mhm.
It-
That counts.
That does count. So Dynamite usually
Toledo.
Wednesday has moved to Friday because
Friday.
of the NBA playoffs. So AJ, AEW Friday night Dynamite, if you will.
If you will.
The second most recognizable athlete in the world. Dustin Rhodes.
Baby.
That was good.
I listen to too many podcasts. It's rubbing off on my podcast.
One of these days, I'm just going to do the podcast straight as Dusty the entire time.
Baby.
AEW Dynamite, baby. Storylines. So, so the show kicks off with Pac and
My favorite show in wrestling right now, by the way, AEW number one
Oh,
for me.
yep, mine
Love
too. Even this, like I saw previews of this show beforehand. I was like, it doesn't seem like it's going to be all that great, but yeah, no, it was fantastic.
Mm.
So first of all, Pac and Penta, El Cero Miedo, take on the Young Bucks, which I did a count of how many.
He did a
Zero
lot
Miedo
before the
count.
match. He's
Oh,
just
he
in the
always
crowd.
does.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
So
yeah.
with before the match and during the match, a total of 7 times. 4 beforehand, 3 during the match.
Oh, you counted.
I
Okay.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept counting. Well,
When
'cause-
did you start counting? Like after 3, or
That's totally worth it.
when they
though.
came right out? You're like, oh, I'm counting how many Sierra Meritos.
Well,
he does,
right before before they even came out, I'm like, I want to see how many times he does. Plus, I knew Taz wasn't going to be on the show, so I had to come up with something to do.
He must have really liked that Joker outfit because he wore that at Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing, yeah. He's just
Yep.
sticking with it. Oh well, we'll get to that. So they have a match with the Young Bucks, and it's great. Like it's just great. Like it starts with Frankie Kazarian coming out, and he attacks the Good Brothers, and he attacks Kazawa. Like so, they're continuing that storyline where Frankie Kazarian was like, I'm going to take on all the elite. I've had enough of
Yeah,
this.
he's the Elite Hunter.
Yeah,
Elite Hunter, yeah.
So he comes out before the match starts and does exactly that. Like chases them all off.
I want to say real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, but that part right you're talking about,
Mhm.
where how they show what's his name, the dude that he attacks,
Kazawa.
Kazawa. freaking the Young Bucks look like they're looking for somebody in the crowd to give the thing to.
Yeah, like they're doing the Bret Hart glasses.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they're looking.
With the
Like,
little like
who?
the little like gypsy dangle
Yeah.
thing he had on his head.
That was
That was
great.
great. And because
Yeah.
how like Mark's out for it too. He's
I
like,
know, right? You're like, oh, Brett.
Oh, it was great.
Good stuff. Yeah, good stuff.
I love the Young Bucks. I love them
They
so
give it a-
much.
Yep.
So there's this great spot where at one point, so Nick is holding, I believe, Pac outside the rings, and Matt Jackson, bounces off like he's gonna do a tope suicida or something, but then he like slides out the ring on the other side and like does this like little goofy like run skip over and just gives Pac a lariat on the outside of the ring.
Yeah.
It was like a little fun trot. I don't know why he did it, but it was amazing. I'm like, this is why the Young Bucks are the best. And then
They're trying to be so annoying. I love it.
and they're killing it.
Yeah.
Then there was another cool spot in the match where Pac he like pushes, I believe it was Nick Jackson up against the ropes, and then immediately does like this cool slingshot German suplex. Like I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was such a like smooth, crisp move. Like I hope he kind of incorporates that because I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So then we have many zero Miedo chants, which means zero fear, by the way. Thank you, 10th grade Spanish. At one point, Penta goes up to the top rope and can only be described as I don't know if this is a bad word or not, but a gooch stomp, we'll say. Like
Okay, sure.
like he does the thing where Pac has his legs and he stomps the gooch. Yeah,
Sure.
the
Yeah.
gooch stomp. So that's
Yeah.
what that's called.
Gooch
now.
is the
Gooch
cleanest
stomp.
way to say it. So
I
that's what
know.
we're going to use.
Like in my notes, I put, "How do I say this without cussing?"
Gave him the old gooch stomp.
The old gooch stomp. Then there's a couple of Canadian destroyers right in a row, which is awesome. Penta
Yep.
does one, and then Nick does one. So the end of the match is Brandon Cutler hits Pac with a thing. I don't know, some sort of thing. And Young Bucks get the win, and then they start beating down Pac and Penta. And then starting another storyline, Eddie Kingston comes out and makes the save. And Kingston, of course, has history with both of these guys, as well as Rey Fenix. So I'm excited to see where all of this goes because right now Moxley has kayfabe injury, so he's going to be out for.
Yep.
Or he might have actual injury. I don't know. I didn't look it up. I probably should have looked it up.
All those V triggers.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
right in a row. And he kept asking for him. Like the Young Bucks
Right,
were willing to
yeah.
oblige.
Yeah, oh.
Yeah, I like it. All right, he wants more. Here's more. So, up next, well, not up next, but most important point number 2,
Yep.
Andrade.
Hey!
El
made
Idolo! I'm buying that
And
shit.
but right when Vicky Guerrero came out, like she has always been nails on a chalkboard for me. Just 100% of the time, like, why are you putting Andrade with
Excuse
Vicky
me.
Guerrero?
She's back to wearing.
Excuse me.
I said it. Yeah, I know.
I was more annoyed that she interrupted my boy Mark like that.
Yeah. Which Mark Henry, he looked tiny. By the way, like
He's lost some weight.
Yeah, he's not. He's probably not pumping and stuff. But
no, off.
Yeah,
juice.
I mean, we're going to talk about Andrade a little bit more, like in the show. But yeah, like I kind of thought wherever he went, they would put him with somebody.
Boo. But
Yeah,
Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah, I'm going to stay open-minded because she's done well in this role with other people. You know, I will say this, and I don't want to ruin any of your coverage, but when Andre grabbed the mic, I was like, no, like not yet.
Yeah,
but
not yet.
He did
okay.
good.
Yeah,
he
okay.
did good. Yeah, it was a little awkward with no music. He kind of just walked out.
Yeah.
That part was weird.
I love the way, the entrance or the debut would have been a little better for me if he would have walked out on somebody or like Omega or
Yeah.
or Miro, you know what I mean? Like, somebody like that or something, But man, I love the way he looked. He looked like a boss.
Yeah,
he
he
needs
did.
a cigar. He needs a
Yes.
cigar
Or
to,
like
to
a
finish the
fedora.
gimmick.
Yeah,
or
I would
something.
say I liked his suit.
I did
Yeah,
too.
yeah. He looks great. He looks in good shape. He's talking better. So, I'm super excited, but I'm gonna stay open for the Vicky thing.
Little skeptical.
Yeah,
I was in like right after he came out, and just actually anyone could have come out, and as long as they took the mic from Vicky Guerrero, I would have been okay. Because again,
Yeah.
it's like just one of those noises. It's like in Dumb and
Sure.
Dumber where Jim Carrey's like, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
But let me say this too, and here's and I you guys are going to agree with me totally. So when she starts talking, it's at such a high pitch that you're concentrating on what she says. So by the time she said Andrade El Idolo,
Yeah.
I was still trying to process what she said because it was said at such a high pitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like you couldn't register right
she's
away.
like, oh, I'm like, what'd she say? And then Excalibur's like, oh, did she say what she said? Did she just say Andrade El Idolo? So that's pretty good Excalibur.
My favorite thing
Yeah,
is
it was.
My favorite thing is after this, after the commercial break, they're going, man, what a night. And JR goes, yeah, Andre, help out here.
Andre, yeah. He had no idea.
Yeah, he didn't. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. We're going to talk about Andrade a little bit more later on about with Vicky. But yeah, pretty cool debut.
And I was kind of glad they kept him without music because now they can debut his music at like the next pay-per-view or something like that, which would be cool.
Yeah, yep.
Because I don't think he'll wrestle for until the next pay-per-view, which is end of June, or Fighter Fest, which is in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So Andrade, good old Andrade, makes his debut. So moving on. By the way. So I have this in the margins. I meant to ask you guys this.
Okay.
So it's a rule in tag team wrestling, right? Where you can burn your tag one time. Is that still a rule, like to break up a pinfall? Like you can burn a tag to break up the pinfall, but then after that, if you burn your tag again to break up a pinfall, you get DQ'd, right?
Negative. Not that I think you can. I think you can break up a tag all match long.
Really?
I think. Yeah,
No,
I don't think
not break up. I mean, break up a pinfall.
Break a pinfall?
Yeah. Like if your partner's getting pinned, you run in and break it up, like you hit them on the back and they fall off, or you pull them out.
As long as you don't break the 5 count to leave the ring.
I think
See, I thought maybe that's like one of those weird old antiquated like WCW rules where like you couldn't throw people over the top rope and all that, because like rules from like 1977. Maybe, I don't know. I thought that was a rule, but I might have just made it up in my brain because that's what I do. Anyways,
I just thought you could do it the whole match is my idea. I don't know.
Maybe I invented that. Maybe I should write the rule book.
Maybe you should.
Wrestling. No, because that'd be a terrible rule. Why would anyone want that as a rule?
What would the name of the book be called?
Wrestling Rules and Regulations.
Wrestling. Grab them cakes.
Quit burning tags. Featuring
Biscuit baskets wrestling.
Biscuit in the basket.
What does Taz look like? Volume 3.
My life as a podcaster. Biscuits and baskets.
Biscuits and baskets.
Biscuits and baskets. Okay.
By the way, we didn't see a biscuit punch. It was like what's the face version of biscuit? Like a cookie punch. Because it was weird. Like Ogogo gave Cody Rhodes the old face jab. And I was like, that's not a biscuit.
Right, yeah.
That's not a biscuit punch. What are you doing?
Right on the button.
So anyways, the main event, which I didn't understand at first, like it seemed very just thrown in there, was Dustin Rhodes and Nick Comoroto in
Harry Man.
a bull rope match.
He's like, do you guys remember the Berserker from?
Yes.
All right. So
Wait,
the Berserker and the Ultimate Warrior had a baby. Yes. Yes. He would want to go, huss. Yeah. So he looks like Ultimate Warrior and Berserker had a baby. to
Yes,
me. Like he's hairy and he wears the thing around his arms.
yep.
and,
I would
you know,
say it when I think of George the Animal Steel, the hairiness.
The hairiness.
Yeah.
First, I thought
Yep.
like, I don't know, like he's been around, but like he's never been featured really before, and I think they might want to do something with him because he was in the main event. It seemed like a thrown together, just random match,
yeah.
but the whole point of it was to get him over, and Dustin Rhodes did exactly that. Like Dustin Rhodes, he got the win in the end, but Nick Comoroto, he looked great in the loss. Like he could show that could work, and like the whole point of the match was to get him over, which
Yep.
worked well. Which, I mean, even with the kind of silly stipulation of the bullhorn rope match thing, like it still worked out really well. And
Right.
Dustin Rhodes, speaking of time machines earlier, how is he faster and crisper in his 50s than he was in his 20s and 30s?
I don't know, man. I'll say
DDP
this.
Yoga.
Yeah, DDP
Yeah,
Yoga.
him and Jake Roberts are hanging out doing-
Machismo. I'll say this. I'll say this, man. I like watching Dustin now probably more than ever. You know, like I mean, honestly, like. So I have a chat moderator named Batissimo, and Primo says his name is Bachizimo.
Machismo.
Oozing Bachizimo.
Machismo, like the black machismo.
Yep.
That's too funny.
Okay, can I make a stupid little thing I've noticed about AEW?
Is it about Bachismo?
No,
Okay. go
but
ahead.
no, I want to say this real quick. Okay, in AEW, okay, look, we got Adam Page, we got Brian Cage, we got Ethan Page, and we have Christian Cage.
Christian Cage.
Can we mix it up here, little people?
No.
Like
It's the Stan Lee way of booking.
I mean,
wrestlers.
Christian Cage was first. Brian
was,
Cage was, in different promotions as Brian
right.
Cage.
So 2 pages and 2 cages is what we
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
Adam and Ethan, and then Brian and Christian.
Maybe they're all cousins.
The
Things you didn't know.
say Page and Cage.
Page and
Page and
Cage. Cage.
Rage Cage. Tenacious D.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Really quick, the rest of the stuff that isn't really worth talking about, but is pretty entertaining. Anthony Ogogo hits the cookie punch on Cody Rhodes.
Your name is
Tag team
AJ
match.
Agogo from now on.
AJ Ogogo.
That's going to be up
Right in the
top.
breadbasket.
Yeah.
In the cookie basket. So the Inner Circle had a celebration. They called them, Jericho called them all Le Champions of Stadium
Les
Stampede.
Champions.
Fantastic. Jungle Boy and Christian Cage versus a Private Party in a match that the crowd couldn't care less about.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
dead.
Yes. Everybody, the aisles were filled too. I don't know if you noticed that. I noticed it.
I did too. Promo with Sting and Darby Allin and Scorpio and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, and I believe Scorpio Sky called Darby Allin like Baby Sting or something like that.
Yeah,
which was pretty funny. And then one segment that I actually loved was the Britt Baker celebration. So they all had Big Macs, and Nyla Rose was having none of it. She was like, "No, none of you get Big Macs," and she was going around like knocking them out of people's hands and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
she was like, "Nerds to your Big Macs, get out of here." Yeah.
She's like, oh, there's burger coupons up under your chairs, because they gave away
they gave away the Stadium Stampede T-shirt.
Yeah, those are cool. Which is funny because remember last time when they lost, they had all those T-shirts made.
Yeah.
So they got it right this time. So yeah, that was funny too,
I
man.
loved it.
Good storytelling.
Then the Bunny versus Straight Outta Your Mama's Kitchen Red Velvet. Red Velvet gets the win.
Yeah.
Miro thanks Jesus for his power and thanks his wife, which is,
For being hot.
yeah, for being hot. I love Miro so much.
His random little jabs are
Oh,
funny, man. The way he delivers them
amazing.
are funny, dude. Yep.
First, I want to thank Jesus for my power. And I was like,
Right. And then at the end, he's like standing there all stoic, right? And then he just like He's just like sitting there, like awkward silence, and he slaps the belt over him, and then like it just fades to black. You know?
It looked like it hurt too because he was like he whipped it over his shoulder.
Right. Yep.
He's gonna have a match with Evil Uno, by the way, which is looking forward to that.
Dark
I want to
Order,
say
baby.
that.
Dark Order.
So the Inner Circle promo,
Mm.
they were all good, except for the one guy I cannot take seriously when he does a promo, and that's Jake Hager.
I was gonna say
Can't do
it's
it. Cannot do it.
Wait, the people. No, I just. When he's like, Wardlow, I challenge you to the one thing I haven't been beaten at, MMA. And I'm like, dude, you've had three matches.
Wasn't he like 1-2 in MMA? Too?
He's had 3 whole MMA bouts. I'm looking at his record right now. Well, it says he's undefeated according to Google,
Really?
but
Yeah.
still,
professionally,
Dirty
he's undefeated. Yes,
professionally, yeah.
professionally undefeated. Yeah, he's 3-0. So, all right,
So he
AJ,
wants
got
to have
anything
an
else
MMA
for
match.
Dynamite?
I would just like to thank Jesus for my power, and that is it.
You should. You should.
Thank
And
the
I
mama
do.
for your
for
kitchen.
that sweet beard.
I
too.
thank my mama for her kitchen. I thank AJ Agogo for inventing the biscuit,
AJ or Go-Go.
the biscuit cookies.
I
And,
think
yeah.
I'm gonna just say I think we might have found your new Twitter handle. I think it's AJ Agogo.
Agogo.
AJAGOGO. It's probably already taken. Honestly,
It might.
probably.
It better not be because I'm going to do that. But by the way, Yet AJ and AJ Lethal both taken.
Man,
Very upsetting.
A jabroni.
we're still
AJ
gonna call you
Jabroni.
the
I haven't tried that one yet.
We are still gonna call you the Yet AJ though.
Yeah.
Yet
AJ.
AJ.
Yet AJ.
So upset.
All right, Primo. Monday Night Raw, man, probably the worst one I've seen in months. Get
my
this
God.
over with, please, sir, so we can go
All right.
on to NXT.
Moving on. So let's just shoot through these, man.
God,
Bear,
this is so
bear
bad.
with me. I
The
gotta
world
talk about
thought so,
it.
too.
I had to live through it, so you gotta listen.
At
Opening
least we didn't have
contest.
to take notes on it. Like you actually had to pay attention and take notes. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
do that.
Oh, man.
Opening contest was
Brutal.
an over-the-top tag team battle royale between RKO, New Day, Viking Raiders, Mason T-Bar,
Sure.
and Lince Dorado by himself.
By himself.
And then AJ Styles comes out. He runs down every tag team and like how crappy they all are, except for he talks crap about RK Bro, but he's like he talks less crap about them.
Mm.
And basically, New Day and Randy tell AJ to shut up because they're the only ones in the ring that can say anything to AJ. The rest of everybody else is all jobbers. So
Yeah. What Mason T-Bar are not jobbers? Take it back right now.
So anyway, he tells. Oh, that's what I wrote this specific line down that AJ said. Actually, he told Lince Dorado that he said, "You do a lot of things that they only see in video games and stuff that I've been doing my whole career." He said, "In fact, I was probably your favorite WWE superstar growing up." And then another funny thing I wrote down was Matt Riddle was wearing 2 RK Bro shirts because
Yes.
Randy Orton doesn't wear shirts. Or
Yeah, so he
He's wearing four.
He was putting it on for him. That was the one highlight of the entire episode.
The only, yeah,
Just Matt Riddle.
yeah. That's the only thing
Matt
I
Riddle,
even
Matt Riddle.
smirked at, man. Yeah,
yeah,
that's great. It's
So
so
then
good.
Johnny Drip Drip wheels out the Miz.
He
And
was
the
in a
Miz is
wheelchair.
talking. They're talking about how he's all hurt and stuff. Unfortunate accident.
I just think it's funny we have to say drip drip.
And Johnny Drip Drip says something about I don't even remember anymore. But he picks up his drip stick. Nobody else has a drip stick.
Who has his drip stick? Yeah.
So anyway, he enters himself as a solo tag team competitor in the match as well.
There are 2 solo tag teams
Yeah.
in this
Right.
over-the-top rope battle royale. for
And
that.
unfortunately,
The moist sea WWE superstar. Is that what he says?
Moisty.
The moist.
Moisty.
Moist.
The moistest.
Oh, jeez.
the part that was stupid was the fact that the Viking Raiders won.
That was the part that was stupid?
But this match, yeah, I mean the whole match concept was dumb anyway. But
Raid.
I'm not a fan of the fact that the Viking Raiders won at all.
Me neither. don't care about the Viking Raiders.
You know, they
We're
have
getting over,
RK Bro
boys.
has merch now, so they should have the belts. I get it. Anyway, they're
They're not
slow
even real
burning.
Vikings.
They're slow burning Primo. So that's what they're doing.
Yes,
They're
they
making me wait.
Mhm.
They know that I was a fan
Take
of
my
RK
money.
Bro from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Next point, we got Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley have a contract signing for their match at Hell in a Cell. Lashley demands that if Drew loses, he will never get another championship opportunity as long as Lashley is the champ. Drew says, real original here, I accept, but I want to see you inside of the cage. So Hell in a Cell. So we knew it was coming. Somebody's going to be. There's always at least two.
Yeah.
So Drew, this part. So then I was starting to be surprised because it was going to be one of the only contract signings ever that ended without physicality. So
Right, yeah.
knew for sure they weren't going to brawl because all the ladies were in the ring. But then Lashley starts to step out, and right as he does, Drew gets that Claymore sword and chops the table in half.
A perfectly chopped table, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Was
I wonder
that
if
a table gimmick?
table.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then I did write down that it was a contract signing that actually happened where there wasn't a physical fight afterwards.
That's true. Just
Probably only a handful of those in history.
a
Right.
Scotsman with a sword. Do you think it was a claymore?
Kind of intimidating.
The only thing that made that better is if they did like the sword sound, like when he when he
Yeah.
puts it down, yeah, like when his music starts, like when he just slashed the table.
That is a missed opportunity. I
Yeah,
think that
hey.
Rob Booker should
They
be
did the
fired.
choo-choo train when Braun would run around the thing. They couldn't do this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. Like what
They
the
do
hell?
doves when he throws the flip flop. Riddle throws the
They
flip flop.
didn't do it this Monday,
Did
actually.
they not? Oh no.
Yeah. I was watching for him. I was actually thinking now that since they do RK Bro when he does it, they can do little snakes.
Little snake.
Watch, that's coming.
That's my
Oh my
idea,
God.
WWE.
I will freak out if they actually like
Little
do
green snakes just
yeah,
fly-
little like slithering.
Yeah.
Oh, book it.
Oh
please.
man! So anyway, the main event we had. I want to talk about two things here. First off, I want to say that later
All right,
on
so that's Monday Night Raw, Primo. Thanks, man. I'm just kidding.
we were talking about how Superstar Buzz later on tonight, but one of them I want to talk about is Kofi's getting a little steam again. So
A
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
and they showed a segment where MVP was kind of getting in his ear a little bit, putting some
sound
fire
like it.
under him.
Like he's getting comfortable losing, is what he said.
Mhm. Yeah, so I'm kind of picking up on that. Kofi's starting to catch some traction these past couple weeks. They had a great match between Kofi and Riddle. Kofi ended up defeating Riddle because Riddle was trying to be like Randy Orton a little too much. He did the hanging drop DDT from the ropes, and then he turned. Randy's like, finish him. He's like doing he did the whole spin around and pound the mat thing, and Randy's just like, no. Anyway, that ended up to Kofi winning, which I wasn't mad about because I like Kofi too, but it's a loss for my boys in RK Bro.
Yeah.
Randy,
Yeah.
Uncle Randy was disappointed and he walked away.
Uncle Randy.
He did look like an Uncle Randy.
Yeah.
too.
And that's how we ended old Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw, man. Yeah, that was oh man, it was hard to watch. It was an awful episode.
I didn't even
And-
talk about Shayna Baszler stepping on the doll.
Yes.
She beat it up. She beat up
Yeah.
that doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
the mirror.
it was funny, man. I felt like this episode insulted a lot of people's intelligence because
Mhm.
right after Raw was over, it's like social media got lit up of how bad this episode was.
It
Yeah.
Like
was
wrestling Twitter went nuts. Like wrestling Twitter hates every kind of wrestling. Let me put it that way.
bad. Yeah.
But because a lot of them are miserable, like no wrestling makes them happy.
Oh yeah,
But,
they're just
like,
they're
no.
just
they're
they're wrestling zillas.
right. Yeah, like everybody hated Monday Night Raw. So
It
yeah,
was
and
bad.
it was so bad. Man.
It was
God.
Yeah,
bad.
it took me a lot to come up with those notes. So it's bad when I watch Raw. When I watch NXT, I have to pick things like out of all the cool things.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
When I watch
Yeah.
Raw, I'm like, that could be a point. I think.
Right? Yeah, I think. Yeah. No, I mean, you got to pull 3 out of a show. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
as long as RK Bro remains a thing, you have at least one in the bag.
RK Bro
Right.
has my biggest paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that was the crappy Monday Night Raw, but the best wrestling in WWE right now is NXT.
We
A
are
fire show last night, man.
NXT.
Yeah, here we go, Primo. Wrap up what happened here last night before we go to the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon. Loved it.
Opening matchup, we had Austin Theory and Oney Lorcan. Good match. These two went at it. Did what?
Sorry, Biff Busick. That was
Oh.
Oney Larkin's independent name. I always think Biff Busick.
Biff Music.
I want to say, Jet Dryer, that Raw show is not my fault. The champion doesn't take responsibility for Monday Night Raw, and I don't have to defend my title until SummerSlam, at which time I will retain. So do your job and acknowledge the champ.
I don't think I want to.
Dang.
Okay,
You
back
make
Lay
to
the
me
it.
think
law
about
down,
Raw.
Jet.
Back to it. During the match, Johnny Gargano and Pete Dunne, they brawl all over ringside all the way up the stage. And I didn't write down who won that match. But anyway, no, it was Oney Lorcan that won, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
only one.
So then we move into probably one of the best parts of the night. We showed there was back-to-back video packages.
Yes, this
First-
is the best. I love these.
Let me talk to you. The first
Let me
video
talk to
package
ya.
was of LA Knight.
Mm.
Oh, I can't.
What?
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 Every time.
Come on.
Every
I know-
time
I
he
know
talks,
you-
he's
you think-
the Rock.
Eli Drake?
I
You
know.
said that last week. Yeah.
Lie. Drake.
LA Knight.
Right.
So, anyway, LA Knight, they're basically showing how lavish they live, and he's sitting in the hot tub. He's in his big house, basically showing why he should be, or what he's gonna take, why he's gonna win the $1 million matchup, and he's gonna take the $1 million name,
Yep.
So,
Take over the moniker.
right.
Awesome.
Next vignette they show is Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes.
And he's just talking. He's like, look, Ted, I'm in my car. I got my watch. Look at my house.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to take the $1 million legacy to the moon.
He pops out of the pool and he's talking through the chick's legs.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, Cameron
So
Grimes
good.
is great.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really is. And to me, I think one of these years I'm going to do it for Halloween. The blazer with the chest hair is gold. But anyway,
So LA Knight fits the $1 million moniker, but I think
No.
Cameron's going to be the more comedy act.
mm,
So
Yeah.
it's
He's
going to be
just
funny to see which
better.
way they go.
Cameron Grimes is just all around better than LA Knight. Plus, he doesn't look
He
like one
said-
of those flowers.
I
from
wrote this down because
Mario
I
Brothers.
liked this line. He said, LA Knight, you say I live under a bridge? I'm so rich I live under 2 bridges.
That's gold.
So, yeah. And so anyway, they have the Ted DiBiase comes out to the ring, and back to the live show. He comes out to the ring and invites both of them to the ring as well. They come down. Ted's talking to him. He says, for this $1 million matchup, we need to have you guys need to climb the ladder to success, literally. And then they look up, and down descends a golden ladder.
Mm.
Money. So, yeah, it descends, and obviously he's like, you guys are going to have a ladder match. LA
have
Knight.
I was saying, we didn't have the cage music. It's like wah wah wah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then it's like you're like, oh, it's gonna fall down awkwardly, and then it like turns and
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
yeah.
The guys are just like. Anyway, yeah, so
Ooh, yeah, Macho Man.
LA Knight is talking about how, he's going to win. And Cameron Grimes says, he starts taking off his watch. He says, I don't care. It's not about the money. It's not you. He takes off the blazer. He starts to climb the ladder. He said, I'll climb the ladder to success. He says, but wait, Ted, I don't see anything. What are we supposed to grab?
Yeah, right.
So then Ted tells them the guys to bring it here, and it ends up being the $1 million
$1
championship.
million championship.
Yes.
So
My
that's
favorite belt
Full
ever.
lore.
so they're going to have a ladder match for that title at Takeover in Your House. By the way, Doc Hayes, the whole show,
Doc Hendricks. Yeah.
Doc Hendricks. That's what. Yeah, PSAs.
Yep. Doot.
It was hilarious. Every time I saw him, I was just like, and then
free
Beth
bird.
Phoenix at one point was marking out for him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doc Hendricks was Michael P.S. Hayes' WWE name.
Right.
Yeah. So that's funny, man. Like, I'm like, God, he's a legendary Michael P.S. Hayes Freebird, and we gotta call him Doc Hendricks still.
Like
Hendricks.
it's funny
to
because
this day.
we crack up because we all know who he is. Everybody knows who Michael P.S. Hayes is.
Right,
You know, Freebird. But and then anyway, but he doesn't have any problem still at this age doing that gimmick.
Yep. Selling that
So-
merch.
Real quick, we had I put these two things into my last point because there were two talking segments. The first one was Legado del Fantasma came out, and they basically were talking about Bronson Reed last week and what happened. Bronson comes out on the stage and he plays it on every screen inside the arena of him squishing Escobar. He's like, let's run it back. So they play it and they run it back and play it again. And then so they're getting mad. At that point,
so
MSK
good.
comes out too, and Wesley's like, hey, can we see that again?
That was my favorite spot of the entire night.
Yeah. So anyway, it comes out before the Legado del Fantasma leaves. They say, "How about we do a winner takes all match, 6-man tag match at Takeover?" So that's what's going to happen now. It's official. Legado del Fantasma versus MSK and Bronson Reed in a winner take all match.
Nice.
To end the night, all the competitors featured in the Fatal 5-Way match exchanged words in the ring. They ended up they all had heated exchange there. And Johnny Gargano, I want to say, this is what I was going to say about him, was he has been on fire lately too. Even though he lost the North American title, he's kind of been in the spotlight.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's Johnny Wrestling. But
Right. Yeah. The
he's
way.
yeah.
It's a big faction on their program right now.
So I've noticed he's been more in, because it's like when we started this show, our show, Johnny wasn't as featured on NXT.
Sure.
So anyway,
Yep, I agree.
they ended up having a brawl.
I hate the headband on him though. It looks
Yeah, it
I
is
think
kind of
looks
silly.
funny.
Yeah. They ended up having a brawl. Before that, though, they had called out Adam Cole, and he came on the screen and said, "You think I'm going to come out there with you losers after I was victorious over all of you last week?"
Mhm.
And he waits for all of them to brawl, and after Karrion Kross forearm smashes Cool Kyle in the back of the head,
Yeah.
then Adam Cole strikes and ends up laying out Karrion Kross. He lays him out. He's standing tall, grabs that title like he should, and raises it. Adam Cole, baby!
Love it.
That's how we end the show.
Best show on WWE right
on
now.
WWE, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that's the recap for this episode. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here. Want to remind everybody that we are now available on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, OneStopWrestling.com, and we are live every Friday at 7:15 Eastern Time on Sportinarium.com right after the Thomas Bryce Show. All right, guys, it's time to talk about our drop kick discussion of the day. Here we go. Let's talk about our dropkick discussion. Our top 5 favorite women's wrestlers. So the criteria for this is a wrestler. Well, you can pick 5 that you just thought were hot.
I was about to
They
say,
could be your favorite.
the
you could
criteria that they're a woman.
be, they're a woman.
That's
So it could be
Santina is out of the running.
Santina's probably out.
The women's battle royale.
Wait,
So is what's his name out too? Old Chinsey Magoo. What was his name?
Oh,
Two
no
fists
chin.
and a-
where are we going with this?
Wow. The guy
What's
that has
his-
no chin.
Yeah, no chin. Fought AJ.
He fought AJ Styles. He beat AJ Styles.
Carmella's dad,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
The one, the Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Why can't none of us remember this dude's name?
Look his name up.
Forgettable.
Anybody in the chat remember his name?
What's his name?
He was
Starts
like
with
an indie wrestler, blonde hair.
he got
yeah.
so big after that. Got.
Yeah, he was. So I'll let you go over that. So anyway, criteria for today: our top 5
Ellsworth.
favorite. James
Ellsworth. Thank you. There it is.
Thank you. So our top 5 favorite women's wrestlers. Any top 5 that you like to watch wrestle. Great promos. Maybe somebody you watched in the '90s who showed you puppies every Monday night or something like that. So So
Gotta love
all right.
puppies.
Top 5 favorite women's wrestlers from any era, anytime. Our personal top 5 favorites. AJ, start us off. Number 5.
So, before I get into number 5, I have an honorable mention. She's not a wrestler, but she's one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite spots ever. I'm going to go with Linda McMahon as an honorable mention, just for the time that she pretended to be a zombie, woke up, and then hooved Vince McMahon directly in them old testicles. It's one of the biggest pops still to this day I've ever witnessed. So, honorable mention, Linda McMahon.
Linda
So,
Mac.
number 5, and this is actually the only one on my list for aesthetic reasons, is Kelly Kelly. Number 5, Kelly Kelly. She was garbage in the ring.
Hello.
She could not speak,
Exhibitionist.
but she was gorgeous, and I was in love with her. Like, anytime she was on, I hated Mike Knox so much, because that's who she was paired with in ECW.
Yes.
Stupid Mike Knox.
He used to come out and cover it with a towel.
Yeah, come with a towel.
Yeah.
I hated him. I hated him so much. But she was garbage. But I don't know why, but for some reason I was just like, Kelly. And so I was absolutely in love with Kelly. So she's my number 5. It'll be the only one that is on here specifically for
reasons.
I had to throw one of those on. So
Okay.
number 5, Kelly.
All right.
All right, Primo, you want to go number 4? Excuse me, or you want to go your number
I
5?
said I don't want to skip my number 5.
Nope. Number 5.
But I do want to give an honorable mention, and this is before my number 5, and this is only for my brother. He's in the chat, Jet Dryer. I got to shout out Caitlin for him. That's his girl. that's his favorite. So and
That's his one, huh?
she is a very attractive lady.
Nice pick.
My number 5, though, I liked her. Her outfit. So not because I was a skater kid growing up, so
Okay.
I like the fact she wore Chucks. She was a smaller chick, but she still won women's champ a few times. AJ Lee.
AJ Lee.
Ah,
You said
AJ
Chucks.
Lee.
I knew where you were
Yeah.
going.
Yep.
I like her whole get up.
Nice.
She had a good, cool vibe. And like I said, she was a smaller, more petite girl, but she still fought and scrapped with the best of them.
Yeah, who's her husband?
Some guy, chick magnet.
Mr. Phillip Brooks.
Phillip Brooks.
Thank you.
Phillip Brooks. Coach.
Coach, yeah.
They might chant his name in Chicago, maybe.
Maybe.
We just call him Phil. Those of us who know us.
Oh, yeah.
He's Phil.
You're right.
He's Phil.
Yeah,
She
he's
was
just a local guy.
Jet. She was my number 5, not number 1.
Wait, she got fired on her birthday, or he got fired? No, on their wedding day.
I think.
Didn't she get a
No,
book out?
I think it was her birthday.
She got fired or something. Something happened on either a birthday or a wedding.
Oh.
I don't know.
It was. I don't remember, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then she wrote a book too, I think.
Yeah.
She did.
Okay, I'm gonna start with my top 5 by saying
Mae Young.
that all these
Young.
are aesthetically pleasing to me in some way, shape, form, or another. But mostly for wrestling ability and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna start with number 5 is one that we're all very familiar with. We hear her voice a lot these days. I love the way she wrestled. I love her style. She was built nicely, should I say? But my number 5 is Edge's wife, the Glamazon. Beth
Yeah,
Phoenix.
I almost put her on my list, actually.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love Beth, man.
She just was outside the bubble for me, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Jet Dryer said it was the wedding day. Good deal.
Yeah, but I agree with Beth Phoenix. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like Beth, man. I loved her style back when she kind of broke onto the scene. A lot of girls didn't look like her. She was like bigger stock muscle, and she got over, and, she's a trooper. Last time she wrestled, she got her head busted open, and wrestled the whole Rumble the rest of the way, pouring blood. Man, I've always been a big fan of hers.
I like Beth, and I like her athleticism and everything else. But as far as like man to woman, I don't know if I want somebody who can beat me in arm wrestling.
I don't care.
That's not a problem for me because most
Me either.
people can beat me in arm wrestling. So it'd be a very limited kind of pool if I had that as a criteria.
All right, so
Good.
so my number 5 is Beth Phoenix, man, and I've always kind of liked her just a little bit more because she's Edge's husband.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Edge's husband.
Edge's
Yeah.
husband.
So all right, so there's our number 5s. Let's get into number 4, AJ.
So number 4 joins the ranks of Chris Jericho and Ric Flair to be someone who has appeared on now more than one of my top 5 lists.
Okay.
Oh.
Number 4 is sensational Sherry Martel.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
I know she didn't wrestle much in WWE, but when she did, and I remember that like her specifically from when I was a kid, she was scary. Like she was super intense.
Would you say she was Scary Sherry?
She was sensationally
Sensational.
scary.
Right.
But in the ring, like she was like intense. She was frightening. She was like a great heel. Like she was screechy. Like
First thing to me about Sherry as a wrestler, she could bump.
yes, and she could really bump, and she was a team player too. Like
Yes.
if you could get her in there and be like, all right, now Brian Knobbs is going to give you a stink face or Pity City, like you're going to take that. She'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also quite fun to look at. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Sure,
She
yeah.
was. But I loved her when I was a kid. I thought she was one of my she's like one of the best like true heels too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she was ever a face, like either in managing or wrestling. Oh, and she could talk too. She was pretty fantastic. I love Sherry Martel.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, real quick. Sherry, like I said, she could just bump, man, and she made you believe, and she sold you a lot on what was going on, and she was just, I mean, absolutely. She's not in my top 5, but she's arguably like definitely could be in there. All right, Primo, number 4.
Number 4 for me. She wrestled in WWE, and she became a women's champion. This was early 2000. Yeah, I forgot to do that, man. Yeah. I was totally
By the
gonna
way,
say
AJ, the rest of AJ's list from 3 on to 1
I was
is
gonna
all
say
Nia.
that, man.
Nia Jax, and
That's
double Nia Jax.
Exactly what I was gonna do. I was gonna be like Nia Jax.
No.
Anyway, so she wrestled early 2000s WWE. She was WWE Women's Champion. And then she went on to TNA and also did great things there, and that is Victoria.
Ah, good pick. That's someone you
Widow's-
don't really
the Widow's
think about
Peak.
a lot.
The Widow
Widow's
Peak, that's
Peak,
right.
yeah.
She was used to hang around with Stevie Richards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Who I
AJ 's
hated Stevie Richards.
AJ, Victoria used to have she had like a wrestling themed restaurant in Chicago somewhere.
She
was
did,
like-
didn't she? Did you
Yeah,
ever
it
get
was-
to go?
I did not. I don't even know if it's still open, but you could go there and watch pay-per-views and that kind of stuff, obviously, but yeah, it was Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. It's something, like Squared Circle Restaurant or something like that, but yeah.
It's called the what was the Stevie Richards
Called Grab Them Cakes.
Grab Them Cakes? Yes. Oh my God, dibs on that for a restaurant name. Patent
Right.
pending.
Right,
Them
you got it.
Cakes.
Yep.
Not
Junkyard
even
Dog
big
is
cakes.
on the logo.
Yeah.
All right, so who's up? Is me? Yeah,
This
me.
is you.
Okay, right. All right. My number 4. Now we're going to start to get into a little more of the familiar as we go here. My number 4. All right, boys, try to reel in the comments here. Let's remember this is a family show. But my number 4 is the 8th wonder of the world, China.
Oh,
So, somewhat like I was always kind of fascinated by her, man. Just like her strength, I ain't gonna say I thought she was always attractive, but she was attractive. There was a lot of times she started adding. Let's see, what's the best way to say this?
steroids.
Well, no, enhancements to her body. She started adding enhancements and parts that got bigger, and as they got bigger, my eyes got bigger. So, but she wrestled all the boys. I loved her with Eddie. Probably my favorite.
Latino.
Latino Heat. China was great, man. Legendary women's wrestler. She was first ever women's IC champion. I just feel like she's so important in wrestling for kind of breaking barriers for women. You got to put her in there. So for me, China, number 4. All right, top 3. AJ, start us off.
So, number 3, which, Dirty, I know you're not a fan, but she's actually there's 2 on my list that are current performers. But
Hold on.
yes.
Oh, here we go.
Wait.
We got a match. We've got a match.
So see, I thought for sure this is going to be the list that we were all wildly different on.
Yeah.
Apparently not. So this particular lass, if you know what I mean, she started out in NXT. They saddled her with an Irish river dancing gimmick, and it turned out that she was just awesome. Like she broke her face, and then there was no stopping her. So Becky Two Belts, the man herself, Becky Lynch is my number 3 of all time, and I dare anyone to fight me, but not arm wrestle because I'll lose, who disagrees with me.
Not me.
Primo,
I will say, that first of all, her song, whoa, yeah, the crowd goes crazy. That is also my number 3, obviously. We did have the same, so we weren't wildly different on that one. But we have good taste.
Yes, as we do.
all right. So
Becky
my
Lynch,
number.
the man is, she's my number 3 to make that official.
Dirty's wrong. He's not a fan of Becky Lynch.
I'm not a bit I'm not against her, like what she does. I just some wrestlers you get it, some you don't. I just don't get it with her. Like I said, a bunch of times.
She's probably my favorite out of the 4 horsewomen.
By far my favorite.
Yeah.
That's where you're all wrong, guys.
See,
You're all wrong. The horsewomen
It's 2 against
starts with the nature girl. Okay.
1. Girl.
Woo!
All
Didn't
right.
even make an appearance on my list.
Let's go. Yeah, Becky's not on mine either, so touche.
It's because you don't know how to spell Lynch.
Yes, I do.
I don't even know what that means.
Anyway, all right, my number 3, somebody's still wrestling right now, but I'm going to say this. Not a fan of her now, going on. And you guys are going to laugh because I've always been a huge fan of this women's wrestler. And, she's always been, I've always been very happy to turn my TV on and see her on it because she's built like if I could build them, but that might be how I'd want to build it. But
Shayna Baszler.
she was from back, she's been around for a long time.
Nia Jax.
She still wrestles now. I kind of lost a little bit of my fandom of her when I started reading her Twitter account because I thought she came off very annoying. But anyway, and I'm not a big fan of cats either, so a lot of her tweets are about cats.
Yes.
But my number 3 is Natalya, man. I've always been a big fan of hers. More back in the old days than I am now. You know,
You and
she's-
Jet.
Yeah, you
She's
and
got to
Jet
be
keep
on
going.
top 3, man. I love Natty, and I always love going to house shows because she was always on the house shows, and I always love sitting close to get a good look at her. So
She actually is great at house shows. Like
Yeah.
my brother and I went to one a few years ago, and she was on her way to the ring, and she stopped, and because we were like right on the ring ramp, and she like stopped and talked to us for like 10 seconds, which doesn't seem like a long time, but when you're on your way to the ring, that's an eternity. It was very cool that she did that.
yeah, that's what I like about house shows too. They can get a little.
Oh yeah.
You know who else was awesome at house shows? Randy Orton. Like, he's awesome. I don't know if you guys have ever had any close encounters with Randy Orton.
Yeah,
He's the man at house shows.
I will. You guys are gonna laugh, but probably one of my favorite house show guys when I see they're on the card, just because I know they're going to have fun and interact with the crowd. It's freaking Big Show, man. Big
Yeah,
Show always had fun. Like, he comes out smiling, no matter the gimmick. He'd come out smiling, and like he's putting his hand up there, and kids are putting his hand up there, and it looks like a penny inside
Big
of
old bear paw. Yeah.
the well. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I always loved watching that. All right, we got off track a little bit. Let's get to our number 2s.
Number 2?
AJ, number 2.
So, number 2,
I shall call him number 2.
in my opinion, if number 2 didn't exist, modern women's wrestling wouldn't exist. She is the first ever TNA Knockouts champ. She is kind of what... You're kidding me, right?
Oh, my gosh. We got another match here? Number at 2?
You can't see it.
He hasn't
Yeah.
said it yet. Don't say it. Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, my God. So
Wow.
I'm going to be quiet about her right now. Because I stole Primo's number 3. So Gail Kim, number 2. Moving on.
All the same
Primo?
things, man. So she did great things in WWE, right? Early in her career, but she went to TNA and became one of the greatest knockouts, because knockouts is what they call their women wrestlers. Knockouts in TNA history. She's in the TNA Hall of Fame now, and also as AJ said, the first ever TNA Knockouts champion. She's awesome. First of all, she's athletic as all get out.
Very. Yeah. She's good. I think
She's very
teaching
fun
a
to
lot.
watch wrestle because she could hop all around the ring and really whoop up on some ladies.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very interesting. All right, so that's y'all's number 2. My number 2, my boy Primo's going to love this pick, man. She was basically, like, I think the hottest thing on TV because I dug chicks like her with the tattoos and the red hair. When she almost broke her neck on Monday Night Raw, I thought I was going to maybe cry a little bit
Oh.
when her and
Rough.
Trish
She's
main
scorpioned.
evented Raw. So, but man, my number 2 is I love Lita. She represented to me the grunge era. I love the whole baggy pants, tank tops, tattoos. She was we went with the Hardy Boys. They were young and just Lita, man. Like, all you got to say is Lita. The live sex shows with Edge.
With the rated R superstar.
With the radar
Man.
superstar, all that, good lord, man.
She went from
Watch
okay,
Lita wrestle,
yeah.
too.
It's going off what I'm just going to go ahead and say because that's my number 1, obviously. She went from being awesome performer, this rebellious chick, right, to being, Edge's arm candy who wears really low cut shirts.
Really, really low cut.
Lots of
Yes.
things showing through her shirt. She almost married Kane. She had
She did.
there was a awesome feud. It wasn't really awesome because it was real life between
Yeah.
Edge and Matt Hardy.
Hardy, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. What do they call that? Poetry imitating life, or
Yeah.
Life imitating art.
Yes.
life imitating art? There you go.
But we'll
Thank
go with poetry imitating
Sure.
imitating life.
Sure.
Biscuits
Sure.
imitating
But
cookies.
yeah,
Go
my
ahead.
you know
copyright that.
my 5 down since AJ took my last 2 in order actually.
Yeah.
I have AJ Lee for 5, 4 Victoria, 3 Becky Lynch, 2 Gail Kim, and number 1 Lita herself. How she was, like we said, she's super cool. That moonsault, she's moonsault. You know, hung out with Team Extreme. She was what
Yes.
I mean.
Yep.
Everything. You guys know I'm a Hardy Boys fan, so clearly,
a bit of a Hardy Boys fan.
Yeah.
Always, just
Slightly.
a little. Always, that, she'd get on the ropes, and turn backwards and then do that, like,
Mm.
like always smooth, man. Just, I love, she did a lot of awesome stuff, man. I was always a big fan
Amy
of Lita.
Dumas.
Amy
Yep.
Dumas.
Amy
All right,
Dumas.
AJ, who you got number 1, sir? Since we know
So
Primo.
we have the honorable mention Linda McMahon. We have number 5 Kelly Kelly. Number 4 Sherry Martel. Number 3 same as Primo. Number 2 same as Primo. And number 1, I think she's also a current wrestler. I think she is the best worker in the women's division. I think that she has the coolest look. I think her promos, even though they are not in English, are amazing. Number 1 is Asuka. I love Asuka more than any. I don't know why. Like I immediatally kind of glommed onto her. I love it so much.
I'm like watching.
She cracks
every time.
me up.
I know. It's so
It's
funny.
amazing. She has a great entrance song. She has the coolest look, like that kabuki
She's
mask.
like, she'll like says something like she's cussing them out in Japanese, and she's like, Charlotte.
It's amazing.
Charlotte is not ready for Asuka.
Not ready for Asuka. And then when Becky Lynch had announced that she was having a baby, like Asuka was like, "Baby?" Like it's just that right there.
Her dancing is funny too.
Oh,
her dancing.
she's
Like she was dancing with the belt. Remember?
Yeah,
when
with the
Becky
belt.
gave it to her. Yeah,
And
Good
then
stuff.
she'll also just destroy everyone in the ring. Like
She was at one point the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion.
Yes, she took that undefeated streak for however long. They kind of ruined that in the main event or in the main roster, but
yep.
I think to me, like she is the entire the total package, if you will.
If you will. I've
Yeah.
dined with kings and queens, the Nick cans, the pork and
Baby.
beans.
She's
Baby.
just the best. I don't think she'll ever be replaced as my favorite female wrestler of all time.
All right, couple honorable mentions from me. Just want to throw them out there just because of their importance of everything going on. Trish Stratus, Mickey
Yeah.
I was gonna say
James.
nobody had Trish.
No one
No,
had Mickey
Trish-
James, which
Trish
surprises
Stratus,
me.
Mickey James, Sasha. Bayley.
Nah.
I'm just, evolution women is what I'm, talking
Yeah,
here.
I mean, yeah.
Ronda.
I had
I
Becky.
actually, we both had Becky. What are you talking about?
She's in the women's evolution.
Actually, your favorite. I actually almost put Ronda at number 4 instead of leaving her completely off my
No
list.
way.
Because
What was this?
apparently she's a terrible human being, like in real life. So,
All right, there's a
outta
couple of my honorable mentions. 5-1, Beth Phoenix, China, Natalia, Lita. All right, my number 1. If you know me, you know where I'm going with this. All right, I'm gonna say 2 things here. Okay, let's start with the obvious thing first. If you know me, yes, my wife is friends with Charlotte Flair. She knows Charlotte. Yes. Okay. So if you know me, people are
since
going.
episode 1 may not know that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They're not best friends, but whatever. Anyway, but I just, man, she is like, she's got the cumber. She learned fast. Watched her since the beginning. I think she's going to be the best ever once we're all done. Her moves are so smooth. I like her as a heel more than a face. I think she's better as a heel. I don't really know where they're going right now. Not basing any of that off, anything. I feel like she's in a little bit of a gimmick middle ground, I guess, so to speak. I don't know where she's going yet with it, but she's the GOAT's daughter, and so that right there is enough for me. I can't wait to see this wrestling lucha nature boy they're going to make
I was
when the
about to
baby
say,
comes.
This
Yeah.
is gonna be a
I mean, this-
wrestling
this-
god.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, this
yeah,
baby,
seriously.
if it happens, is going to have the biggest lineage of heritage we've ever seen, possibly with Mexico and then United States.
Like,
Unbelievable.
The best ever third generation superstar.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I love Charlotte Flair, man. It was great. I was there WrestleMania 31 when she won the belt in the triple threat match against Sasha and Bailey. So it was just amazing, man. So that is our top 5 favorite women's wrestlers. Real quick, I just want to talk to you about what we got coming up here as far as discussions for Dropkick discussions. Next week, we're going to talk about our top 3 favorite Money in the Bank pay-per-views.
Yeah.
After that, we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite entrances, which that one's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to that one a lot.
Yeah, that one's going to be fun. The week after that, top 3 favorite SummerSlams. And then after that, next 3, top 3 ladder matches, not in TLC. Top 5 favorite wrestling announcers. And then we're going to talk about our top 3 Undertaker matches. So that is what's coming up as far as Dropkick discussions go. So, all right, guys, now let's just run through some news and notes here as we finish up the show. I want to announce August 6th and 7th, us right here on this very show, the Sit Down Marks Wrestling Podcast. We're going to be sponsoring a match in the Scenic City Invitational. It's a yearly tournament down around. It's in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area. So anyway, long story short, 2019 champion was Daniel Makabe, and they didn't get to have the tournament last year. So they're getting back on track, having the tournament this year. So Daniel Makabe just announced he is coming back to defend his title. Now, nobody has ever won this title twice. Every tournament that they've ever had, I don't think there's ever been any back-to-back winner, or excuse me, any two-time winner. So maybe Joey Lynch. No relation to Becky, boys. So
Nah.
turn down your pop.
Yeah.
But he's coming back to defend his crown. And us here at the Sit Down Marks Podcast, we're going to be the sponsors of his first round match. So
Cool.
Make sure you tune into that August 6th and 7th on Independent Wrestling TV, man. Looking forward to that one. So the boys are going to be down here with me. We're all going to be under the same roof. We're going to be watching this tournament, man. It's going to be awesome. We'll be watching our logo sponsor that match.
Oh, it's going to be
awesome.
so cool.
Yeah, it is, man. Can't wait.
I'll
All right,
be
next
there,
up in line.
me and the championship in tow.
It's a bowling trophy. Like, quit showing off your bowling trophy.
If you bring that trophy to my house, it's staying. So you better leave it where you're at or not. All right, next up, the A&E biography last week of Bret Hitman Hart. Did you guys like that at all?
Yes.
It was all right.
I'm about halfway through it.
I love Bret so much that I realized that he's kind of a moan in real life, but he's the best of all time. Like,
yep, best there was, best there
there
is,
ever will be.
the best there ever will be.
He's not on the mic because have you guys ever noticed when he cuts promos, he does that? Oh, two hearts beating is one. Like, he bounces. Like, quotes Phil Collins. Like, he's
really
terrible.
good.
Did he say I can feel it coming in the air tonight? Or
It's like Phil Collins said, "We're two hearts beating is one."
do.
That's him and the Anvil.
What are you guys laughing at? Did I miss something here? What are y'all laughing at? What's funny? Did I
I'm
miss something?
laughing at his impression of Bret Hart. That's golden.
I missed it. Okay. All right, let's keep rolling on. Yeah, that biography, it was good. Didn't tell me nothing I didn't really already know.
No.
You know what I mean? But
No,
these A&E biographies has kind of been that way. I think that was the last one at least for this season.
For this season, yeah.
For this season, yeah. All right. Did anybody watch the Grizzly Smith Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah, man.
I did too.
I gotta say, especially now having kids of my own, small children, that's kind of tough to watch.
It is. It was very dark.
Yeah.
Long story short, Grizzly Smith, the father of Jake the Snake Roberts, Sam Houston, and Rockin' Robin.
Rockin' Robin,
all
yeah.
three wrestlers. This blew my mind, boys, because you guys heard me talk about Sam Houston on this show before. You know what I mean? I love Sam Houston, man. Like, to this day, at least once a week, this is how much of a mark I am. I go back and watch old WCWs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm watching them in chronological order. So, excuse me, WCWs. When I say that, I mean World Championship Wrestling, not the one that was on TNT. This one, the one that was on TBS in the 80s.
So
like the one
the
that came
old,
on
old one.
the ones that came on at 6:05, 7:05.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, the Koloffs and anyway. So I'm watching, and and Sam, God, man, like they said in Dark Side of the Ring, if this kid had build on him, he would have been a superstar. He was just thin and skinny, and he had an alcohol problem. And Baby Doll was on there. The famous valet for the Four Horsemen, Tully Blanchard, Dusty. She was married to Sam Houston. So that was a wild story for me, man. Plus, I hadn't seen Sam in years, man, and since I honestly hadn't seen a picture or anything of him since I heard he went to jail. So for so many DUIs and stuff that he had.
Yeah. They said he had like over 20, and he finally caught up to him. Like, you couldn't escape it anymore.
Yeah.
How did he escape the first 19? His daddy's
how did he
name?
get through the first 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, he pulled a lot of strings. But yeah, it was a real dark episode. We won't go into it the stitch of it. But yeah, it was a really dark episode, but interesting. Weird to kind of watch Jake's view on that thing, and it almost kind of like makes sense of where he got those deep dark promos from.
Right.
Like wow. You know what I mean? So yeah. But that was interesting to watch. I don't know which one's coming up next on there. What's next week? Oh, Dynamite Kid.
Yeah, the Dynamite Kid. Which,
Ooh,
being a big British Bulldogs fan, I'm excited for that one.
Yep. All right, guys. So we talked about Andrade earlier. It's time to kind of go back to it. What do you guys think, man? How high can Andrade go here? Let's say, I'm thinking, are we thinking world champ eventually, AEW? Are we thinking TNT champ? Are we thinking, one more thing, are we thinking with Vicky or without Vicky?
Without Vicky.
I'm thinking
Please, without Vicky.
I'm thinking, as much as we want him to be without Vicky, I'm thinking realistic he is going to be.
For a while.
I'm thinking that they're thinking of Mexican heritage.
Yeah.
So Andrade and Vicky with the Guerrero's lineage, her being married to Eddie. So is that, the Mexican legacy there. But also, I still have him pegged to beat Kenny Omega for the AAA title.
Yeah. Which I think is a smart call. I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Because they could do some crossover here. You know what I mean? Like that AAA title could end up on AEW. And
they can have heat on both shows.
Sure. Yeah. I like it. All right. Yeah, I mean, as we talked about earlier, that debut was a bit awkward. So next
he
time,
just kind of quietly walked out.
Yeah, give us some music, But I love the way he looked, man. He looked like $1 million. He looked like a boss. He looked like a cartel king, kind of, with the
like a mobster.
He kept. I like how he keeps like holding his jacket up, kind of like
showing the inside pocket. Yeah, there's a stitching on it. Yeah.
All right, throw Andrade out of there as far as buzz right now. Across the world of wrestling, who has the biggest buzz right now? Y'all think?
Right now, I say I actually wrote a couple of this down.
Sure.
Aleister Black being released, and
buzz. Okay, yeah.
Aleister Black, and he says that it's no secret that he could potentially go to Japan, or he has a love for Japan. He's even talked about how growing up he didn't even watch WWE that much. He watched Japanese wrestling.
Yeah,
sure.
So
yeah.
Another
Tommy
one.
End. Bring back
another
Tommy
one
End.
real quick. Not so much buzz, but news. I don't know if y'all caught this, but Leo Rush retired.
Yeah, what was that about?
What?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that. Is that today?
So I guess he got hurt either at that Casino Battle Royale or shortly after. But
Oh.
he retired when I saw it, it was 14 hours ago. So it was last night.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was last
yeah,
night.
I totally missed that. No, wow.
So
Like,
that
he
means
was-
he won't be at that AAW pay-per-view.
Means he won't be at
will
AEW.
not.
It's funny, man. He's had quite a little run lately. He was on a TV show that me and Primo watched, The Challenge,
Yep.
MTV Challenge, and then he got booted off the show, lost or whatever. And then he popped up a few GCW shows. And then there was a small little grassroots kind of thing going on with him and Laredo Kid. They were having these legendary matches going on right now. So it was kind of weird because his buzz was kind of, starting to build.
Yeah.
But yeah, he hurt his shoulder.
Mhm.
And apparently he was like, yeah, no, I don't want to have a beaten up, broken down body when I'm
So he's
40.
going to focus on his family and other ventures.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, news to me.
It was out of the blue though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
we'll,
was.
we'll see. Those wrestlers.
I
it's
think
hard
he's
for them to
retired
walk away.
before though.
Has he
Oh,
retired
yeah.
before?
Yeah. Once before at least.
Yeah.
So I heard a rumor that made me groan, and I hope it was just a rumor. I think it was either What Culture Wrestling or Cultaholic that reported that a rumored Hell in a Cell match would be Rey Mysterio against Roman Reigns. Why is that a rumor right now? Like, how could that even be a thing currently?
Well, it can be a thing because Roman just beat up.
He just destroyed Dominic.
Dominic.
Yeah, but
So-
why? I don't
But
want to see.
What I mean,
Rey
there's
Mysterio.
there's nothing at stake.
No.
Yeah, Roman's going to have these mid card guys that he's going to scrap off until we get to the big boy pay per views. You know what I mean? So he's going to have feuds. And
But-
Ray would.
Why we can't have him facing Ray whenever they're supposed to be facing the
The
Usos?
Usos, yeah,
Right,
that's what I don't understand. Like, why are you
Yeah.
putting Ray in a championship, not a championship match, but why are you putting Ray against Roman Reigns when they need to drop the
Because,
belts to
you
the
know,
Usos?
I love Rey Mysterio, but he gets hurt if you blow at him. If you blow at him too hard, so
Yes,
you don't want,
like, do we
definitely don't
really
want to put him in
to
a Hell in a Cell.
Do
Yeah.
we really want him to have his 12th knee surgery in the
Yeah.
past 10 weeks? Like,
But maybe they drop the belts to the Usos, and then Ray's pissed off about it. And he's like, I'll take you out, Roman, myself. I'm not scared. Dominic gets in there and gets hurt too, and then they ride off TV for a while. Yes,
I'm okay with that.
book it.
The old
Right now.
James Storm knee injury.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, let's keep rolling here towards the end of the show. But right before we get going, Primo is going to run down the NXT pay-per-view in your house this coming Sunday.
I am so
All right,
excited
Primo,
for this pay-per-view.
what is this card, man? The best show in WWE right now. So I'm looking
Absolutely.
forward to it.
So we got In Your House. It's this Sunday. We have the just announced last night is the winner takes all 6-man tag team championship match between Bronson Reed and MSK against Legado del Fantasma. Excuse me. Next up, we also have a little grudge match between Xia Li and Mercedes Martinez. Nothing really on the line there except feelings.
Yep.
Right.
women's championship match. We have, and I like this because I actually almost made my list. Actually, Ember Moon.
Mine too.
Yeah,
Shockingly enough.
we think a lot alike. It's weird. With Ember Moon versus Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Strap. That's what I. And then we have the $1 million ladder match for the $1 million championship, baby. Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes, baby, to the moon. Yeah.
And that is between Cameron Grimes and LA Knight. LA Knight.
Night.
Let me talk to ya.
Rock.
Let me talk to you.
And of course, the main event, we have the Fatal 5-Way between Adam Cole, baby,
Baby.
and Cool Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano. I was like, who's the other guy? Johnny Gargano
Yeah.
and Karrion Kross.
Johnny Wrestling.
Johnny
What I love
Wrestling.
about Adam Cole is because he's kind of a throwback. You know, back in the day, the old 80s wrestlers, when they pointed and did their promos, it was with two fingers because they were taped together. Yeah, it was like Halloween Havoc, you, me, brother.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
every time Adam Cole does that, that's what I think of. I'm like, please tape your fingers.
I know, just to make it less weird.
Yep. All right, boys. One prediction from that pay-per-view. I'm gonna start. I say Cross loses the belt to somebody else. Cross goes to one of the other brands. That's just my booking.
You just
Yeah,
stole my prediction.
Because we're getting a live crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's exactly why. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Cross drops the belt and moves up, even though
I
it's not
love
up.
him I love him in. Yeah, it's not really up right now.
It's like lateral.
It's a step down if he goes to Raw.
If he goes to Raw, it's like 4 steps down.
Yeah. Yep.
My prediction is that Cameron Grimes gets that $1 million championship.
I am so excited for that. That's gonna be great.
Yeah,
love that belt.
I'm here for the celebration. Like all that happens, I want like women everywhere. I want him swimming in money, you know, like in his suit with his chest hair out.
Yeah, he's burning money in that video.
I love it.
Suit with this chest hair.
And just hamburger meat everywhere, man.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's
All
all
right.
we got for the card.
Okay, all right, everybody, let's talk about it real quick. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Anybody want to start?
Yeah, thumbs up. For me, it's easy to talk about. We just talked about it. NXT.
Yep.
NXT for me right now is my big thumbs up, and I'm also thumbs up for the fact that TakeOver is this weekend.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. I have a thumbs down that I think I've used a couple weeks now in a row. Shinsuke Nakamura. Why? Why? He can't beat Corbin. I hate it so much. He's one of the best in the world.
And he's got Rick Boogs.
Rick Boogs. Like, it was awesome when Boogs played his theme song. Apart from that, stop. It makes me mad. I'm such a Shinsuke mark, and they're just I don't get it. I don't understand.
Thumbs up on basically everything happening in AEW right now. I love it. I'm not fast forwarding through any segments.
Nope.
I'm watching it all. I love the promos. You know, their roster is stacking up, man. I'm starting to get a little worried that, you know, like, let me talk to you guys about this real quick. Okay.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you. Let me tell you something. My name is Dirty Bird. Now, let me tell you, though, let me put this in perspective, though. Okay. When WWE releases people, right, we're all like, oh, wow, you know, Futures, Endeavor, you know, like all that stuff, you know, and there's a list. We haven't started seeing that with AEW yet, you know, other when like they let go Jimmy Havoc a while back. They let go a few people that got in some trouble or whatever, but we haven't seen like those big names being released or somebody disgruntled about not getting the push. You know, we haven't seen that part yet. So I'm interested to see as their roster stacks up big time, you know, like we automatically assume, oh, he's, you know, when somebody gets released, oh, he's going to be great in AEW. You know what I mean? Like but we haven't seen the mass exodus yet versus, you know, them bringing in people. So once that starts happening, that's when, you know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to get worried is what I'm saying.
People get lost in the shuffle.
People get lost in the shuffle. Yeah. Because, you know, I mean, excuse me.
Jungle Boy.
I think we're already kind of
Jungle
seeing
Boy.
it in the women's division too, man. They have so many good women, but just not enough time, you know, and Britt's at the top of that right now. So she's getting, you know, all the TV time. So yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see as they load up their roster, you know, eventually, you know, they're going to make cuts and, you know, people are going to go elsewhere, but that is my thumbs up is like, I'm loving everything on there. My thumbs down is Impact needs to hurry up, get on the ball, man. I'm getting a little annoyed with their still no fans there. Like they have wrestlers there. That's it.
I did see that there will be they will have fans at Slammiversary.
I seen that,
Yeah.
but I'm their Thursday show though, man. They got to get fans back, man. Let's get to it.
It's weird, yeah.
These empty arena matchups, nothing like Rock and Mankind.
Right. All right, next pay-per-view's coming up this Saturday against All Odds, Slammiversary in July. Hell in a Cell for WWE is the next one. AEW next one is, you said Fighter Fest, AJ?
Fighter Fest.
Fighter Fest.
All right, so those are ones coming up. SummerSlam hype happening soon, so that'll be fun as we build to that. Money in the Bank is after Hell in a Cell. So, but anyway, that's why we got the red going on right now in the backgrounds. We're getting a little theme going on, Hell in a Cell, till we get there. So.
Yeah.
So that's going to put a bow on the show today, man. Pretty fun one, man. And we really got to talk about a bunch of different things. So I want to thank our sponsors, Rowdy Energy, for the delicious, delicious nectar of the cherry limeade. And I'm going to pull a page out of my boys Primo's playbook.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So we got that going on. Also, want to thank Coastland Apparel, www.coastland Apparel. Use promo code BirdTV for 15% off. I want to say, guys, too, we got a lot of things coming up in the works here. Hopefully, we can make some announcements here soon. We got some big things coming up, for the podcast. So we thank everybody for supporting us. I want to thank everybody listening right now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, OneStopWrestling.com, and also live every Friday at 7:15 Eastern Time, right after the Thomas Bryce Show on Sportinarium.com. Man, I always look forward to listening to the pod every Friday night. So for my podcast co-host AJ, and the champ himself, Primo, dancing
grab them cakes.
The rest of the way, make sure you grab them cakes before next week's episode. Let's talk about next week's episode real quick. I'm bringing one of my good wrestling buddies. We're going to talk here. Chris Woolridge is his name. We call him Wooly. He's going to be here next week. We're going to talk about our top 3 favorite Money in the Bank pay-per-view cards of all time. So make sure you stay tuned for that, man. Been a really fun episode here tonight, man. AJ, Primo, you got anything on the way out?
No, I just want to say thank you to everybody that viewed tonight, that tuned in. You must have listened to Big Beef, and none of you guys are going to get that beefy bomb, but everybody that missed out will.
Yes. Thank you, Big Beef. That was awesome, like unexpected and amazing. I'm not gonna lie, like when Dirty showed us that, I kind of freaked out a little bit.
Yeah,
this is
heck yeah.
so
All right.
cool.
Well, for those of you that missed it, I'm going to play it for you here right quick, and then we'll come back out and close the show. Here we go. One more time. The warning from Big Beef Gnarls Garvin. If you don't listen to this podcast,
Fantastic.
Beefy Bomb has a little warning for you. Here it is.
It's the Beefs are here, and I'm telling you, you better turn into the Sit Down Marks podcast with AJ, Dirty Bird, and Primo. And if you don't, Beef's gonna have to hit you with that beefy bomb. Tune in, folks. They won't disappoint you.
Beef's going to have to hit you with that beefy bomb. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It.
That's great, man. I love that, man.
Excellent. I love it.
When he says Primo, I'm totally creeped out, by the way.
Yeah.
Primo.
And Primo.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, why just have to say it like that, man?
Yeah.
That's great, man.
Very sinister turns Primo.
I love Big Beef. He is one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite independent wrestlers. We're going to have him on the show here at the end of the month. This dude is it's going to be fun, man. Can't wait to have him on. Thank you, sir, for that video. So, all right, let's wrap it up here for tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Sean, thank you, sir, for tuning in. Everybody, let's see who else was here. Green Plastic AJ. Anybody know him? Nope.
No. Who was that?
Bueller.
It's weird.
Might be right above you in the chat and the video.
I mean, it's right there at the end of the name.
His name might be AJ.
Yeah, it's right there. Right there.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This was episode 13. We'll be back here next Wednesday for episode 14. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys all next time. Appreciate it.